Ladies and gentlemen, with this story, it has got to be the most senseless thing I've seen in a while. Not only because the biological father was involved here, there was absolutely no reason for what took place here with this fool. I mean, this individual that you guys see on my screen has done something that, are we even surprised at this point with the amount of stories that we talk about on this channel? I don't know, but you guys let me know. But the story is going to have some details that are probably going to really just leave your head scratching, as well as my commentary. So if you guys can't handle that, I understand. That is your disclaimer if you need to exit the video. Beautiful children though, but this story comes out of Florida. So let me see if I can get my L together. My hand is still kind of hurting. Ouch. Ouch. I'm gonna give y'all like a little, it's a big L, but I can't really give you a big L, so I give you an L like that. Florida takes the L. A Florida mother, I use that term loosely, has been charged with the killing of her 2 young children after officers responded to repeated hang-up 911 calls from her apartment where they found these children's bodies. Those are the babies right there. They found these children hog-tied, tied up. Okay? She said, and I quote, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore." This individual, Odette Lysse, Lysse, Jossant, 41 years old. And this individual told police who responded to the scene on Tuesday night, according to the arrest report, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore." I want to make sure and stress that point. The reason why I want to stress that point, again, is because she didn't have to have custody of these kids if she didn't want them. The biological father was involved, so you have to ask yourself, how do we even get to this point? Well, officers entered the Little River apartment in Miami and found 3-year-old, and you see these angels right here. I had some bigger pictures of them. Let me back it up. These angels. Jeffrey, who was 3 years old, this baby you see here, and Laurel, 5 years old, the other baby on the right-hand side. They found them lying in a prone, P-R-O-N-E, a prone position, and strangled on the bed with their arms, legs, and neck tied, according to the police. Hashtag not my words. The mother, Odette Jossant, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. I want you to bookmark that. First-degree murder with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and have been ordered to be held with no bond at Miami-Dade court. Emergency services tried to resuscitate the children until a Miami fire rescue crew arrived, where they had to pronounce them dead. It is unclear how many phone calls were made to 911 or whether she actually spoke to a dispatcher. Okay, the calls were made. Miami police spokesman Michael Vega said that the father was not living there at the time, but said there had been at least 4 calls made to the address in the past year over domestic violence, trespassing, and disturbance. None of the incidents involved the children, and no arrests were made, according to Vega. Let's keep going. Law enforcement is also working with the Florida Department of Children and Families, but it's not clear yet whether it had been involved with the family in the past. I wish they would be more transparent about that. Were you involved? Were you not? Were there calls made? Were there not? Why can't they tell us that? I mean, I know why, because they're more scared of getting sued. They're more worried about making money and saving their own skin rather than saving these kids. I know that's not all, but it's too many cases. Too many cases. That's what their main concern is. The state agency did not respond to requests for information. The father, let me see if I can get his face up here. That is an evil looking witch. That's the biological father right there. His name is Francie Frantzzy. I'm assuming that is not an American name. Francie Bevel said that he would pick up the children every weekend and they would go spend the night with him. What does that mean? That means he had his own place that he could have provided for these kids, right? Josiah and Bevel are both originally from Haiti, but he arrived in 1995 and she came in 2015 to the United States. She asked me to cancel my contract with the apartment to move back in with her. Let me say that again, because I think this is going to be indicative of why she murdered these children. Because everybody'd have to ask, why did she do this? And I'm curious if we have any people in the chat. If y'all would, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. Let me know that you guys are hearing the sound of my voice. How many people in the chat do we have that are going to give this idiot the excuse mental illness? How many people in the chat are going to simply blame this on mental illness and she should get a lighter sentence in prison? Because I'm going to tell y'all, on Facebook, in some of the comments, I already saw some people saying that. It was mental illness. Y'all don't know what she was going through. They say mental illness. We don't know what she was going through. But it's funny how you want to claim that a person was mentally ill, but you don't know what she was going through either. Isn't that funny how that works? Two-way street. When you're talking about being fair, thank you. Let me fix that real quick. When you talk about being fair, it's got to be fair on both sides, right? And you cannot sit here and say that you don't know what the situation was, but it was definitely mental illness. You can't say that. There are just some people that are just selfish. Some people that are just mean. Some people that don't love their kids. Is that not possible? Or you have this other scenario that we talk about on this channel all the time, which is called babies for benefits. And benefits can come in a lot of forms. Benefits can come in the form of money. Benefits could also come in the form of attention. Attention. And I think that is going to be the key indicator here. Let me tell you why I think that she killed these kids for the benefits that she wasn't able to get off of them. This woman asked her baby daddy, or whatever you want to call him, the father of the children, she asked him to cancel his contract with his apartment and move back in with her. Move back in with her. Move back in with her. Why did I say that 3 times? Why am I repeating myself? Because that lets you know exactly why she killed the kids. Let me keep going. Bevel said that he was not aware of any diagnosis for mental illness. Want to claim mental illness, but don't want to actually get it medically checked out. Right? Right. Let's keep going. But he said Josiah had lost custody to the state of an older child. Sounds like that wasn't his kid. She had already lost a kid for being a badass parent. That child's father remains in Haiti. In an emotional interview with 7 News, Bevel added, "I don't feel so good now. I don't feel so good. I don't know exactly why she killed my kids. When I got home last night, the police came and they said that they want to talk to me, and they said, 'We're sorry you lost your 2 kids.'" Think about this. They are not together for a reason. For whatever reason it is, whether he was beating on her or her beating on him, there was some domestic violence that occurred that he understood over here in America, not in Haiti, but in America. When there's domestic violence, if there's a man and a woman, it is going to automatically be assumed that the man is being the, what do you call it? He's inflicting the domestic violence. I was trying to use a $5 word, but I forgot it. they usually assume that the man is the one inflicting the damage. So with him understanding that, he said, you know what? I can't be over here like that. So I moved out. He went and got his own place to live, wherever that is. Now, he goes to get his children every single weekend. So that means he is not lacking in taking care of his responsibility when it comes to taking care of the kids. So you'd have to ask yourself, why was she begging him to move back in with her? She was lonely. She wanted him. She didn't give a damn about the kids. And when he said, hey, I got a contract over here, I can't be around you like that, but I'm going to take care of my kids, she said, you know what? I'm going to eliminate the thing that you and I created together, the thing that I know that you love the most and is going to hurt you to your core, those children. If you ask me, that is a first-degree murder charge. That sounds like she was in her right mind and she made a conscious choice to end those children's lives. If you're talking about hog-tying children and strangling them, that takes some effort and that takes some thought, does it not? Let me say that again. That takes some effort. That takes some thought. You wanted their lives to end, and you wanted to end their lives for a reason, because that man did not want to be with you. That makes you a piece of shit. And I think that you need life in prison, not a mental evaluation. You dig? Let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage. Got a couple news videos to look at. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Now, if you guys would, do me a favor. If you're watching this video right now, please do me a favor and click that thumbs up. If you would click that thumbs up, it'll help share the story. Really easy to do. Doesn't take much time, but it'll share the story and let more people know that it is here to be seen. And we want to share more of these stories to get these babies some justice, okay? All right, let's get it.
At noon, a mother under arrest accused of the unthinkable killing her two children.
Her son and daughter were found dead last night at a home in Little Haiti.
And Local 10 News reporter Trent Kelly is joining us live from there.
He has a reaction from the father of the children. Trent.
Well, Janice, Christie, the kids at the center of this case, just 3 and 5 years old. As you mentioned, their own father did return here to the very same home where they were murdered overnight. Their own mother now sitting in jail, accused in their deaths. The big question now among friends and family is why.
For those who believe that this is a mental illness story, we are not a monolith here, and I definitely want you guys to be able to post your comments and tell me what you guys truly think. Okay, so if you think that this is mental illness, please let us know, okay? But I personally don't think it's mental illness, because if you consider, because she didn't do any medical evaluations or anything like that, right? No medical evaluations, but you want to classify her as having mental illness. So if that's the case, then we would have to go back to the Cola Bill story. Y'all remember Cola Bill? Go back and look on my channel, look at that video. And look at him, because he murdered his ex-girlfriend, his stepfather, her dog, and as well as, I think, a friend or cousin of his. Then got up and did an interview and said that he didn't feel any remorse at all. You guys remember that? But they're not trying to give him a mental illness case. Why is that? Is it just a male-female thing? Or are we looking at these stories for the merits and what they actually present? Because if I take those things and I look and say, look at your actions, you made a conscious choice to do this, then I would say you can't sit there and now at the end, when a life has been lost, now say, yeah, let's lessen their time because they had a mental illness, when you won't diagnose it prior. So I'm just saying.
A Miami mother facing murder charges, accused of tying up and killing her own two kids.
You're a mother, how do you feel? Like, what is there? Is a devil in your head?
Police arresting 41-year-old Odette Josant overnight on 2 counts of first-degree murder. They say Josant called 911 several times late yesterday, but never said why. Officers eventually responding to her apartment off Northeast 75th Street and 1st Avenue in Little Haiti, where she allegedly told them, quote, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore." It wasn't until investigators
Back that up. I want y'all to hear that again.
told them, quote, "Come get them. I don't want them." Why? Officers eventually responding to her apartment off Northeast 75th Street and 1st Avenue in Little Haiti, where she allegedly told them, quote, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore." It wasn't until investigators went inside her unit that they discovered the bodies of her 3-year-old son Jeffrey and 5-year-old daughter Laura, tied up in a back bedroom, both children pronounced dead at the scene.
And sir, do you know anything? Any idea why this happened?
Their heartbroken father at a loss for words while arriving at the scene earlier today. Along with him, he brought 2 large photos to remember his kids, their toys still laying in the lawn nearby.
There's always inside the house. They always go to school, like, normal kids.
Neighbors still in shock, now left wondering why something like this would even happen.
I seen them like a couple of days ago. I said hi to them, like I always do, give them fist bumps, but it's just sadder, like it's still kind of like surprising.
Now, on Today in Florida, a father horrified and heartbroken.
2 kids, that the only kids I have.
And a mother charged with murder.
You're a mother, how do you feel? Like what is there? Is a devil in your head?
After a chilling child tragedy.
That mother waking up behind bars and a heartbroken father sharing his pain after his 2 children were found dead. 7's Tavares Jones is live in Miami with the latest in this child tragedy. Tavares.
Vanessa, this tragic death of these 2 young children, just 3 and 5 years old, a little boy named Jeffrey, a little girl named Laura. Police say their mother took their life. This father still wondering how this could happen.
I don't know exactly why she killed my kids for.
A father now trying to make sense of it all after his 2 young children were killed. Miami police say it was at the hands of their own mother. Francie Belval opened up to 7 News Wednesday, describing the moment that officers told him he would never see his 2 young kids alive again.
The police come talk, they say they want to talk to me. They say they're sorry, you lost your 2 kids.
Investigators revealing details about their murders after the siblings, just 3 and 5 years old, were found dead Tuesday inside an apartment on Northeast 75th Street and 1st Court. Detectives say they discovered the kids lying in bed in a prone position with their arms, legs, and neck tied. The children's father tells 7 News things seemed off a few weeks ago when the kid's mother left him in the care of a babysitter for several days.
Why you no go work? You home? And then you know work in the night? Why you leave a kids and the babysitter for 3 days?
In this photo, Odette Josant is smiling with her 2 children and seemingly happy. Now she's accused of the unthinkable as she stood before a judge on Wednesday in silence.
I'm going to set the bond. Count 1 for first-degree murder is no bond. Count 2 first-degree murder, no bond.
A makeshift memorial now sits at the apartment building where the lives of these 2 young children were cut short. Their father broken.
I don't feel so good now. I don't feel so good now.
It's funny how they will do this to children, but they won't do it to themselves and then just let the dads have custody of the kids. Because her goal was to hurt the dad. Just throwing that out there, man. I got a couple more videos here. Let's keep going.
First at noon, a mother in Little Haiti charged with the murders of her 2 young children found tied up in a bedroom. We are live on air and always streaming on CBS News Miami with the CBS News app. Good afternoon. I'm Maribel Rodriguez.
And I'm Candace Gibson. This is such a disturbing story. Police say she called 911, and when officers showed up, she told them that she didn't want her kids anymore.
CBS 4's Brooke Schaefer is live at the scene with the latest. Brooke?
Guys, everyone we've spoken to, from friends, family to neighbors, just really in disbelief at this story. Miami police told us they found those 2 kids dead inside this apartment building this afternoon. Their mother charged with murder.
Holding up their baby pictures, this man said he is the dad of the 2 kids killed in Little Haiti last night.
One Jeffrey and Laura.
5-year-old Laura and 3-year-old Jeffrey found dead inside an apartment in this building. The 2 young kids killed by their own mother, according to police.
It's just crazy because I have kids too, you know.
Miami police rushed to 131 Northeast 75th Street in Little Haiti around 8 p.m. Tuesday. They got multiple calls to 911 from a woman who police said seemed to be in a mental crisis.
The female seemed irate. She seemed like her mind wasn't correct.
When officers got there, Miami police said the mother appeared irrational. She said, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore." Police went inside the apartment.
But you know what's funny? She told that to the police, and I think she did it merely for attention. Think about this. Why would you call the police and say, "Come get these kids"? But you didn't call your baby dad and say, "Come get the kids"? Can y'all let me know that y'all heard what I just said? I think that is very telling, and this is why I think that this woman deserves zero sympathy. Zero sympathy. Think about this. She called the police and said, "Come get the kids," but did not tell the biological father to come get his kids. Everybody catch that? If you ask me, that's premeditated murder.
And found the 5-year-old girl and 3-year-old boy unresponsive and tied up.
Heartbreak in Little Haiti. It's just crazy because I have kids too.
In an apartment bedroom, just hard to even say this. CBS 4's Ashley Dyer joins us with reaction to this.
Okay, somebody in the chat just asked, how many kids does she have? So, the reason why I want to reiterate this is because it wasn't a prevalent point in the story, but I think it's very important, so I'm glad that you asked. She has at least 3 children. She only had custody of 2 of the 3 children. Please let me know y'all heard me say that. She has 3 children, but only had custody of 2. She lost custody of her oldest child to the biological father of that child, who doesn't even live in America, doesn't even live in the United States. So then she has these 2 children. Had 3, lost 1, killed 2. That's where we're at.
Extremely sad situation. Ashley?
It is extremely heartbreaking story. Lauren and Elliot, tonight we are learning that police are very familiar with this house. They've responded here for several incidents involving domestic violence, trespassing, and several disturbances. But police say this is the first incident involving children.
Jeffrey and Laura.
A father shows up to the apartment building where police say his 5-year-old daughter Laura and 3-year-old son Jeffrey were found dead. The person accused of the heinous act, their own mother.
Your mother, how do you feel? Like, what is there? Is a devil in your head?
Police say 41-year-old Odette Wassaint called them last night.
We received several calls to 911 where they were calling, but she wasn't saying much.
When officers arrived to the house, the children's mother appeared to be having a mental episode.
One of the things that she did tell our officers is, "They're inside, go get them, I don't want them."
Inside, officers found her 2 children bound at their wrists, ankles, and necks.
It was a little sweet and happy to not love this kid so much.
Police are still investigating what led to the murders, but say it's not the first time they've been to this house.
We've responded there numerous times.
This afternoon, Wassaint appeared in front of a judge charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Count 1 for first-degree murder is no bond. Count 2 first-degree murder, no bond.
Something else I forgot to bring up. You can't blame this on, well, she was young and she was going through things. Do y'all know how old this woman is? Because maybe y'all didn't hear it in the story, but I just want to make sure that you know she's 41 years old. Can you blame it on her being too young? "41 years old. Hashtag no excuse."
Francie Belleville is at a loss for words.
I don't know what to say.
His two children, who he says were his world, Laura and Jeffrey Belleville, just 5 and 3 years old.
He said those kids were his world. I'm telling you guys, that is why she committed murder on her two children, is because he knew that he loved those kids and he did not want to be in a relationship with her anymore when she begged him to move in with her and he refused to do so. So what does she do? Kill the kids. That's the end of the story. Life in prison. Hashtag babies for benefits.
Were found dead Tuesday night inside a bedroom in their home in Little Haiti. Police say their mother, 41-year-old Odette Josaint, killed them.
Never imagined they're gonna do something like this.
Josaint faced a Miami-Dade County judge Wednesday morning
For 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Police say they found the children dead, tied up in one of the bedrooms. They say the mother was frantic, telling officers she didn't want the children anymore. Court documents show the couple had a history of domestic violence.
All the time she wanna fight, she bite me. And anytime you talk to her, she wanna bite you.
The mother was accused of misdemeanor battery in 2017 when the two lived together, but those charges were later dropped.
Oh, now remember, we didn't know who was the one being charged with domestic violence. Let me back that up like a U-Haul truck. Beep, 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 beep. Let's hear that again. What did they say?
Lived together, but those charges were later dropped.
Bite you.
The mother was accused of misdemeanor battery in 2017 when the two lived together.
Bite you.
The mother was accused of misdemeanor battery in 2017 when the two lived together.
Bite you.
The mother was accused of misdemeanor battery in 2017 when the two lived together.
So she was being abusive to him.
But those charges were later dropped.
I just had to hear it on my phone to make sure that y'all can hear me. She was the abuser. So think about that. I'm pretty sure he was just like, I can't live with her anymore. And he moved out and got his own place, like I said.
But those charges were later dropped. Belleville was charged with felony battery and had a
Do you know why the charges were dropped? Probably because he was the one that called the police in order to save his life. And when they got to the court portion, he said, no, I don't want to do that to my baby mom. I don't want my baby mama to go to jail, so I dropped the charges. Is that not what a lot of women do when they have abusive men? They go to court, I want to drop the charges. A lot of men, when they have to press charges against their women, they're like, you know what? I want to drop the charges. I can almost guarantee you that's the only reason the charges didn't stick. Because the man didn't want them to stick.
Bite you.
The mother was accused of misdemeanor battery in 2017 when the two lived together, but those charges were later dropped. Belleville was charged with felony battery and had a restraining order against him. That was also dropped. DCF sending this statement about the tragedy, writing in part, "The events that unfolded yesterday in this home are devastating. The department is working closely with law enforcement to uncover the circumstances that caused the tragic and untimely death of these two children." Meanwhile, Belleville is getting by, remembering the good times he once shared with his children.
The two of them like to sing. But Laura always tell me she want to be a doctor.
It's a Little Haiti woman now under arrest in
apartment building in Miami. Now, yesterday we learned that she will not be getting out of jail anytime soon. Take a look at this video. You'll see 41-year-old Odette Josaint, who was in court yesterday. She was denied bond on 2 first-degree murder charges she's facing for killing her 2 young children, 3-year-old Jeffrey and 5-year-old Laura. Now, according to Miami police, Josaint repeatedly called 911 Tuesday night and would then hang up the phone. When police went to her home, they said she appeared to be in a mental crisis, and it was then she reportedly told officers, quote, "Come get them. I don't want them anymore."
When the officers went inside, these two kids were tied at the hands and at their feet, and they also had tied in their necks.
What I want the community to know is that it's very important if they see a child whose behavior changes abruptly, who is withdrawn, who cries with a parent or caregiver and doesn't want to go with them, who has cuts, bruises, or who seems dirty or sleepy. Those are all signs that something could be going on in the home.
And DCF is now investigating this case. In a statement yesterday, they said the events that unfolded in the home are devastating. The department is working closely with law enforcement to uncover the circumstances that caused the tragic and untimely death of those two young children. And DCF went on to say that additional information regarding the family will remain confidential. Again, that vigil is planned for this afternoon at 5 o'clock. For now, we're live in Miami. I'm Deborah Souverain, CBS 4 This Morning.
Man, and this is crazy. I'll actually be visiting Miami pretty soon. But let me give you guys my closing thoughts. First and foremost, I don't see the dad. I see the dad purely as a victim here. He was a victim of, probably falling in love with this woman, had two kids, wanted to be a father. They ended up clashing because of their personalities, or maybe just because she just has I don't know, just maybe her personality or who she is just didn't fit. They just didn't fit well with each other, I guess. And he was claiming domestic violence from her, so it sounded like she was getting physical with this dude, because she's a pretty big chick. And she seems like she's actually, because I actually saw them in a picture together. I don't know if I still have it on here, but she seems significantly bigger than him. See if I can find it. I don't know if I have it. It's not always the determining factor, but sometimes that can tell a story. So it's in one of the pictures that he's holding up right there. It's really, really hard to see, but she looks significantly bigger than him. So she was probably being physical with the dude because she felt like she could get away with it. So he did what a responsible father would do. Move out of that house, get your own place, get yourself established, and still continue to take care of your children. Right? He still continued to take care of his children every single weekend. She turned around and said, I want you to move back in with me. He couldn't do that for a lot of different reasons. One, because of her instability. And two, because of the violence that already had occurred between them. And he's on a contract. He was probably in a lease with his apartment. You can't just up and just run out of a lease just because you want to get back underneath a woman. Can't do that. And what she do? Turn around and said, you know what? I'm going to take the one thing that I know that will hurt you to the core and hurt you eternally, your children. There are a lot of people that get destitute like that are in despair emotionally, but that does not qualify them as having a mental illness just because you're lonely and depressed. That doesn't qualify you as a mental illness, and nor does that make it okay for you to go murder innocent children. And I think what makes this even worse is the fact that she called the police and said, y'all come get these kids. The dead children on top of that. Well, what she could have did was just said, take the kids. And I'll deal with my own misery and my own whatever I'm going through. But she didn't want to do that. That lets me know that her mind was in the right place and that she did this premeditated and murdered those kids. These babies deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. And these children also deserved an opportunity to be raised by their father since their mother didn't want them. She clearly was only trying to gain off of these children, which is what we call babies for benefits. That is going to continue to be our mantra. We're going to call that out. We say this type of thing is wrong. So we hope that everybody jumps on board, shares this story, and lets the world know that this woman needs life in prison. No mercy. No mercy. To that king, to that prince, I'm going to call them. Let me see if I can get their pictures back up here. To that prince and that princess, R.I.P. We say these things and hope that we can prevent these things from going forward. Also, make sure you do a background check. I will say this: if the biological father knew before he got with her, that she had lost her kid to her previous baby daddy, that might be a key indicator that you might not want to be plugging this woman up and making babies by her. If she already lost custody, that goes for the women too. If a man loses custody, you might want to think twice about having kids with him. If a woman has custody, loses custody of her kids, fellas, you might not want to have kids by them. It's just something to think about. If you're going to have babies or if you got babies, get background checks, please. Ladies and gentlemen, how many more stories are we going to have to present out of Ohio? I am almost convinced that I wouldn't want to visit Ohio. Definitely would not want to live in Ohio. I wouldn't want to drive past Ohio for a number of different reasons, especially Cuyahoga, Cleveland. Sorry if y'all live in that area. Y'all know there's a lot of things bad that are going on with children out there. A lot of nasty things, disgusting things. And if I wanted to, I could probably do multiple stories every single week just about the city of, or the area, the county of Cuyahoga County. It happens that often out there, but I'm not saying this is Cuyahoga County. This is actually Batavia, Ohio. Now, the individual that you guys see on my screen, I'm going to tell y'all, and let me warn the parents, especially the dads. I'm going to tell y'all right now, it is a good thing that we have fathers in this world that'll protect their children through thick and thin, through good and bad, through sickness and health and all of that good stuff. But a father like me, and I tell my daughter all the time, especially when we go on any type of functions or church events or whatever the case is, if anybody does anything to you, you come talk to me and you tell me, and daddy's going to handle it. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, I would hope that nobody wants to find out how daddy would handle that. And I know there are a lot of fathers out there that can relate to my sentiments and to my feelings and my thoughts, that they will protect their children to that level and to that extent, especially in this situation. And I got to tell y'all, I would hate to be the parent on the other side of this. This story is going to have some details that are probably going to make you ill to the core, as well as my commentary, but that's your disclaimer. If you can't handle it, then you might need to get out the kitchen, all right? Batavia, Ohio, and this guy is a former high school coach who was also involved in the church. He was a church deacon, and this fool, this idiot, this rapist, this individual is headed to prison, okay? And let me say thank you to WLWT for the article, WLWT.com. That idiot's name is Chad Wilhoff. Let me see if I can get Chad's wonderful face back up on the screen. This dummy right here. Chad Wilhoff is 42 years nasty. He has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for child sex crimes. Last month, he was convicted of not 1, not 2, not 3, 4, or 5. He was convicted of 10. T-E-N. 10 sex crimes involving a child. When the sexual assault started, the victim was only 12 years old. Let me see if you guys have been studying these words that I've been giving y'all. Does that make him a hebephile or a pedophile? I'm going to see if, because we got a live chat running right now. If you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up. I just want to make sure that we get our terminology right and what he is considered. 12 years old. Would that make him a hebephile or a pedophile? It would make him a pedophile. Pedophile, prepubescent. 12 years old is prepubescent. That would qualify him as a pedo. and he continued to do it, which makes him actually a pedophile and a hebephile together. So it's kind of a trick question. He's both. At the time, Wilhoff was a deacon at the church and a youth group leader at Landmark Baptist Church in Batavia. I'm going to tell y'all that scares me a lot because we were involved in the church. Woo! I'm thankful ain't nothing happened yet, and I hope it never does. I couldn't be the parent on the other side of this. Couldn't do it. He was also employed by Bethel Tate School District as a girls' soccer, track, and basketball coach. So he was just around all kind of little girls, just getting his pedo and hebo on all day long. His victim was one of his players, of course. During Wednesday's sentencing hearing, her parents spoke. I know it's a lifetime of struggles. I know what my daughter's going to go through, the victim's mother said. I truly fear for my daughters and him. If he doesn't get some significant jail time out of this, I will be concerned as a father, said the victim's father. The victim, who is now an adult, came forward and reported the abuse to investigators in 2020. An investigation revealed that almost 18 years ago, employees at Bethel Tate and church members made administrators and the church pastor aware of inappropriate behavior involving Wilhoff, but police were never called. I'm going to read that again, and you guys tell me if you feel like that's a problem, because I'll tell you what my issue is with that. Again, it states that the investigation began years ago, and the church members made administrators and the church pastor aware of inappropriate behavior involving Wilhoff, but police were never called. So, if you're going to hold this man accountable, shouldn't you hold that pastor accountable as well for seeing something and saying nothing? What about the church members and administrators? Shouldn't they all be held accountable for seeing something and not saying something, right? 5 years in prison, maybe longer. Because I think that all of that is a level of complicity, if that's even a word. I'm trying to use my $5 words right now. I think they are all complicit for knowing that this is going on and didn't take immediate action to get the police involved. This is where I have a problem with the church. The church just thinks that the things that they do, they can handle it in-house. We can just pray it away. We could just pray the molestation away. We could pray the rape away. We could pray the crimes away, right? Now, I want y'all to keep in mind, for those people who are involved in the church who might get mad about my words, please understand that I come from a church background. So I'm saying what I'm saying with a clear conscience. Just because you feel like you directly answer to God, you are God's messenger, these are your disciples, does not give you the right to take the law into your own hands, especially at the expense of a child. Can I get an amen on that? Since we going to church today, huh? I thought the good book actually advocates for you following the laws of the land. So if the law of the land is that if you are a mandated reporter in the church, you find out something is wrong and you don't report it, then I think your ass, pastor, your asses, administrators, and church members, since y'all told them but didn't call the police, what kind of stuff is that? That ain't real godly, huh? I don't know what Bible y'all are reading. What are y'all reading, like the Book of Mormon or something? What Bible are y'all reading? I don't know. That's not love and that's not law, right? That's not love and that's not law. let's keep going before we get knee deep in some religion right about now, because I feel like I need to spread the gospel a little bit here, especially as a father. If he would have just came forward at the very beginning and admitted his guilt, it might mean something according to the father, the biological father. Wilhoff apologized before he was sentenced. He said, "Your Honor, I take full responsibility for my charges. It was my fault alone and no one else's. I am deeply sorry and I apologize to the victim and her family," Wilhoff said. "I hope the people I have hurt will one day forgive me. I'm nowhere near the person I was then, and I ask for your mercy so I can help raise my children and help others." I don't think he gets it. He said, "I want to help raise my children and help others." Well, it sounds like you were helping yourself. It sounds like you were self-serving, helping yourself to some little child's innocence. That's what you were helping yourself to. Let me ask y'all this. Once he does his time and has his coming to Jesus time in prison, these 15 years or whatever it is, after he gets out, do y'all think that he should ever be around anybody else's kids, let alone his own? I don't think so. If this is what you've been doing all these years, who were you helping? You were only hurting, right? You weren't helping anybody. You were self-serving, you were disgusting, and screwing on children. Help your children and help others. Sir, I don't effing think so. Not in this life. Not ever again. This, I don't even think this is good enough for what they give him? 15 years in prison. They didn't even give him the 18 years that this whole thing occurred. 15 years. I think this should have been a life sentence, but I digress. Wilhoff also has 2 more cases that are pending. Both involve victims who were children at the time. That sounds like prepubescent. That sounds like he's a pedophile. One was also a former player of his when he coached at Bethel Tate, and the other one was a neighbor. Do y'all think that type of person can be rehabilitated? If you ask me, I don't damn think so. Never again. Let me give you guys the fair usage. This is ridiculous. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys would do me a favor and please click that thumbs up, it'll help share the story and spread this word so more people can hear about this, because I didn't see a lot of videos about this at all. So please help us share this story. And by the way, if we have some church people that are in the chat right now, if you're watching this video, if you feel some type of way, if you feel like I am speaking blasphemy or feel like I'm speaking some words that are not actually in accordance with the law or with God's words, then let me know. Post it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Everybody has the right to say what they believe in my chat. Okay, let's get it.
Details tonight about a former high school coach accused of sexually abusing a child. Investigators say that Chad Wilhoff started abusing a girl when she was 12 and continued while he coached her at Bethel Tate High School in the mid-2000s. Wilhoff coached girls soccer, track, and basketball. The Landmark Baptist Church in Batavia also listed him as a deacon there back in 2013.
41-year-old Chad Wilhoff is in the Claremont County Jail awaiting sentencing on 10 child sex crimes. The victim, 12 years old when the sexual assault started in 2003. They took place over a 5-year period while Wilhoff was employed by the Bethel Tate School District as a girls' soccer, track, and basketball coach. He coached the victim.
He systematically abused this child for a number of years,
She, of course, had issues even coming forward at the time she did. I think her words were that her brain is so messed up by everything that he's put her through.
How many of y'all believe it was just these couple of girls? Because I think it was probably a lot of them. Somebody in the chat just says, it says in the Bible to obey the law, to obey the laws of the land. Wherever you go, there's law there. You obey those laws. I'm pretty familiar with my Bible. Like I said, I couldn't quote you a scripture, but I am familiar with what it does say and maybe things that it might not say, or things that people get unclear, like judgment. People think that you are not supposed to judge. How long have I been talking about this? Just like in this situation, there were actually people out there that would say that God says that you should not judge this man for what he did. And I say that's bull crap. Christian is to be Christ-like. So when we go before God on Judgment Day, if God is to judge us, then why should we not be more God-like and judge people here as he did there, right? Everything is a judgment. We judge food. We judge animals, whether they're dangerous or not. We judge whether food is healthy for you or not. We judge whether you should go on a green light or a red light or a stop sign, right? We judge whether you should use foul language in certain situations. We judge whether you should try to correct somebody's children if children are misbehaving or whatever the case is. We are always judging. What makes any judgment different than another? All judgment is the same. Yes? But it also says, judge lest thou be judged. So that means for the standard that you set, that is the standard that you will be judged by. It doesn't say don't judge. Okay? Judged lest thou be judged. So that means if you set that standard, that is the standard that you will be judged by. So be careful if you say that this person is wrong for doing this, but it's not wrong when I do it. That's not righteous judgment. If it's wrong for me to do it, it's wrong for them to do it, it's wrong for everybody to do it. That's proper judgment. Let's keep going.
Forward in 2020 led to more charges involving.
Thank you. Somebody else just caught that too. I should have brought that up. That's a perfect point. You judge who you have around your children. But you know what a lot of people say and what they believe? I shouldn't judge them. Just because they might have a criminal past of being a pedophile around children, that don't mean I should judge them. Right? You don't judge babysitters. You don't judge daycares. You don't judge schools. You don't judge neighborhoods. You don't judge violence. You don't judge gangs. You don't judge drugs. Right? Christians are supposed to have discernment. Thank you. You're supposed to be able to see through all of this. That's what discernment is. Discernment is judgment. Thank you.
2 additional victims, another former player of his and an ex-neighbor. Prosecutors say Wilhoff put himself in positions of trust. He wore several hats at Landmark Baptist Church.
The deacon position, the youth group leader positions, and he worked on his reputation, which helps prevent disclosure by victims.
Prosecutors say a disturbing aspect to this case is there were people in the school district and at the church who reported Wilhoff for behaviors they thought were inappropriate.
We had other coaches, teachers at Bethel Tate who took notes of the inappropriate behavior. They kept those notes for almost 20 years. At the time, they came forward to administration and made their concerns very clear to the administration, who did absolutely nothing. And also the church, the pastor at the time was made well aware of the inappropriate behavior that was observed by other members of the church. And frankly, his reaction was to tell that church member to stay in your place.
He told the church member to stay in your place. I would have been whooping some ass. All up and through that church. Stay in your place. You see a child being mishandled probably in a sexual way, and you tell that person to stay in their place, I would have whooped everybody's ass in there. Everybody who was around would have caught an ass whooping. Really though? But you know what their mantra is? You ain't supposed to judge nobody, y'all. You ain't supposed to judge nobody. This is what not judging people gets you. It gets you pedos in your church, in your schools, and your neighbors. Hello.
And those witnesses from years ago did testify at this trial last week. I do want to mention I did reach out to the school, and Bethel Tate Schools confirms the administration, the current administration, is completely different from the administration years ago. Also, though, the church, on the other hand, according to prosecutors, it does have some of the same people working at that church.
So it sounds like all of those children are in danger, and they've swept this under the church rugs all these years. If you ask me, whoever that pastor is, need his ass whooped. I'm just saying, if I turn on the news and see that pastor then got his ass whooped, I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying I wouldn't feel bad if violence occurred.
Was just 12 years old. Chad Wilhoff was once a respected member of several Claremont County communities. He was a church deacon and youth group leader at Landmark Baptist Church in Batavia. He was also employed by the Bethel Tate School District as a girls' soccer, track, and basketball coach. Now he's headed to prison for sexually assaulting one of the girls he coached over a 5-year period starting in 2003. During today's sentencing, her parents spoke.
Myself, I know it's a lifetime of struggles, and I know what my daughter's going to go through.
I truly fear for my daughters, and him, if he doesn't get some significant jail time out of this, I will be concerned as a father.
The victim, now an adult, came forward in 2020. An investigation revealed almost 18 years ago, employees at Bethel Tate and church members made administrators and the church pastor aware of inappropriate behavior involving Wilhoff, but police were never called. Prosecutors say the pastor even told a church member to stay in your place.
If he would have just came forward in the very beginning and admitted his guilt, it might mean something.
Today, Wilhoff.
He was coaching all girls teams, always around little girls. And y'all think that he only had a couple of victims? Nope. I can guarantee you if it was that long ago, over that prolonged a period of time, those girls just chose to not say nothing. And these parents literally just handed their children, their little girls, over on a silver platter. Probably going on out-of-town trips talking about, yeah, we about to go to a soccer game out of state. Not knowing that he was probably taking them to a molest fest out of state. Supposed to be taking them on a ski trip and probably took them on a DIC K trip. Right? Boy, couldn't have been me, man. He would not have made it to trial. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying.
Apologized.
Your Honor, I take full responsibility for my charges. It was my fault alone, no one else's. I am deeply sorry, and I apologize to and her family. I hope the people...
And he used her name in court, boy. No. He used that man's daughter's name in court, boy. Couldn't have been me, man. Could not have been me. Nope.
People I have hurt will one day forgive me. I'm nowhere near the person I was then, and I ask for your mercy so I can continue to help raise my children and help others. Thank you.
Wilhoff has 2 more cases pending involving 2 others who were children at the time. One was also a former player of his at Bethel Tate, the other an ex-neighbor. In Batavia, Karen Johnson, WLWT.
I'm going to tell y'all, this is what not judging gets you. Not judging gets you a man that's doing all of these wrong things and they just sweep it under the rug and act like ain't nothing happened. I think that everybody in that church needs to be investigated. These children need to be interviewed. Matter of fact, where in the freak in Batavia, Ohio is CPS when you need them? So you mean to tell me that in Ohio, CPS is afraid to go into these people's houses? And they're also afraid to go into the church? Why does the church scare CPS to do an investigation and check on every child that was involved in this church? Matter of fact, they didn't even go to the school. So he was at the school and at the church. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for posting that in the chat. What about his own kids? You don't think he was sick enough to probably have done something crazy to his own kids? I want to be able to help my kids and help others like you've been doing all this whole time? Yeah, right, sir. Yeah, right. People like this cannot be rehabilitated. If you ask me, 15 years in prison is not enough time. What is 85% of 15? I don't know. What, 9, 8? Nothing about this man is going to be changed by the time he get out of prison. Until we get some real solutions, some real time in prison for these people who hurt, murder, and abuse, and molest, and hurt our children, this thing ain't gonna never stop. People need to be afraid of the consequences. Something like this should have deserved life in prison to really make an example out of this dude. I think Ohio failed on this. I think Child Protective Services failed on this. The pastor in the church failed. The administrators failed. Everybody who attended that church from then up until now, every one of you guys are horrible people. I want to say that on camera. I hope you watch this video. I'm saying all of you are horrible people. And yes, I am judging you. Horrible people. You all need to be in prison. All of you guys suck. None of you need to be around children. You clearly condone this behavior and skirted the law, and I think that should be a crime in itself. Again, that dude should have got life in prison. This is not justice at all. Pray for those kids. Pray for every one of those kids, because I'm pretty sure they're going to need all kind of counseling and more, and maybe they need, let me not say that. Let me not say that. So let me pause before I say something inflammatory. I'm going to leave it at that. Pray for those kids, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. But justice was not done here, okay? Share the story. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section on this story. Thank you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you to everybody who was able to financially support. If you can't financially support, guys, don't feel bad about it. We've had a great group of people that were able to do so when they can and how they can. For everybody else who's not able to do that, share these stories. We'll eventually get more people here that can help spread these stories like wildfire, and hopefully we can get a large collective of people here who care about these stories, want to hear about these stories, and give us justice. That last story that we just did, that gives us a perfect opportunity to get 3, 4, 5,000 eyes on this story. Find his ass, get him locked up. That's where we can enact change, right here on this channel, okay? I love you all. Y'all be safe. Protect your kids. Protect others. Love you all. Have a great day. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next story, all right? Peace.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS 4kids.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a newscaster. This is not a news station. I am not here to deliver the news. I'm not here to be gentle, giving my commentary. I am not here to be on any race of people's side. I do not hate my own skin color, nor my daughter's mother. I do not hate my parents, nor where I came from. The goal of my platform is to bring awareness to the murder and abuse of children. I want to encourage more people to dedicate their time, energy, and focus onto the children. I want to encourage people to change their behavior, and I give many examples of why they should change their behavior. We have already saved many lives, and I believe that we can save a lot more lives with the support of our AFC platform. So please, don't get lost in how I convey a message. Just get the message. All right, this is your boy DJ Just J. Signing off. Holla at me. Peace.